What's up, guys? So today I'm at Euro Motorsports in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and my friend Dan has very kindly allowed me to review this brand new Brabus 800 GT63S that's sitting behind me here. The car has just over 100 miles on it. The new owner is coming to pick it up today, and he's been very kind enough to allow me to review it, kind of go through it, check it out, and look at all the amazing features that the Brabus 800 package offers. Now, I've actually already reviewed a GT63. However, I figured it'd be kind of cool to show what Brabus offers when it comes to their performance packages. And I actually reviewed the GT63, not the S. So this being a little bit higher spec car, a little bit higher performance. Of course, it has that amazing red interior, which we'll check out in a little bit. And since we've got it in the showroom right now, I'll be able to show you guys the ambient lighting. Then we'll get it out in the sun, take some pictures of it, and then I'll go over all the differences of what makes this 800 horsepower beast different from any other regular GT63S. That's kind of funny to say just regular GT63S. I mean, this is AMG's newest super saloon. It's a hatchback, but also four-door, so four-door coupe they call it. But it is Mercedes-AMG's newest, I guess you could say, supercar with four doors. And they start at around 150 grand or so just for the GT63. This being a fairly fully loaded GT63S has a window sticker of about $187,000. And then adding on what Brabus did with their 800 package puts the car rated around $230,000. So you can see the Brabus B that replaced the star, the Mercedes star here, as well as up here on the bumper where the Mercedes logo was. And once we get it outside, we're really going to go in depth and go through all the changes that Brabus has made. But for right now, we're going to check out the ambient lighting, and then we're going to get a cold start. As you guys are going to see, aside from the very aggressive Brabus quad exhaust, the oval exhaust with the diffuser here, the carbon diffuser, this has the Brabus exhaust system, and it sounds very good. And the regular, I keep saying regular, but the, I guess you could say stock GT63S already sounds amazing. But we're gonna get to hear what this beast sounds like in just a few minutes. All right, now let's check out the interior. All right, so I've got the key to the GT63S here. As you can see, it's just a key fob, keyless go. And the AMG logo on the back of the Affalterbach crest has been replaced with the Brabus B. Pretty cool. So we'll just put that in our pocket. And right away, you can kind of start to see the changes that Brabus has made. Right from the illuminated door sills, the Brabus carpets. All right, now we're going to take a step inside the Brabus 800 GT63S. So as you can see, the interior of this is much different from the GT63 that I reviewed. There's just an insane, overwhelming amount of red leather, carbon fiber everywhere. This has the carbon fiber AMG performance steering wheel, flat bottom with the Dynamica sides. And it's a great steering wheel, especially if you're wearing gloves. Feels great on the Alcantara or the Dynamica, but if not, also feels good on the hands. You have the carbon fiber down here with the AMG logo, as well as all the aluminum accents here, very nice. This is, of course, AMG's newest steering wheel design, or Mercedes-Benz's newest steering wheel design. Has the little trackpad here with all the controls for your drive pilot, adaptive cruise control, all your media controls. And of course it has the shortcut buttons, so you can have sport exhaust or suspension. These are your mode selector for your race, sport, sport plus. And once we get the car outside and it's on and everything, we'll show you guys more of that. Because the GT63 actually didn't have these two options. It's really something that almost comes standard on the 63S. However, similar to the GT63, this S has the drive pilot, the steering assist, lane keep assist, automatic parking, heads up display, suspension lifter. This car, of course, has air suspension on all four corners and rides amazing, especially with what Brabus has done to the car. They tuned the suspension. And just looking at these AMG performance seats, they are amazing. They are power and they are heated and cooled. That wasn't the case with earlier cars, not the GT4 door, but like E63 and stuff. They didn't always have heated and cooled for the performance seats. There is no active bolstering. However, you have a very aggressive fixed bolstering here, both for the thighs and the sides here. You have the AMG logo there, and then of course you have the holes you can put the harnesses, 5-point harness. They have the Falterbach crest right on the headrest there, or the top of the seat. It's not really much of a headrest, but of course you have the leather racing line in the middle of the steering wheel here. It looks very, very good. And while it is very similar to the interior of the GT63, pretty much why I'm not going to do a full in-depth review. I'm really just going to do kind of the differences between the S and the 63, and of course what Brabus has done to this car. And also, being that it has so little miles on it, I am not going to drive it. I'm not sure the owner would appreciate that, but as far as driving dynamics, the cars are very similar, so I don't feel a need to really drive this car around, but we will get some startups and some rev clips. And like I said, I'll just go through all the differences between a regular 63, this being a fully loaded 63S with all the Brabus goodies, the 800 package. So right now I'm going to show you guys the ambient lighting that's in the car. Then we're going to get a cold start. We're going to take it out of the showroom, put it out in the sun, maybe behind the building. And I'll tell you guys about the main differences between the GT63S versus the 63, as well as this Brabus 800 versus a regular 63S. So let's go check it out. All right, so right now I'm just going to show you guys the ambient lighting. We'll go to the vehicle menu here. I'm using the touchpad down here. I'm going to go down, light settings, and I love the haptic feedback on the touchpad here, just like on the GT63 that I reviewed. We'll go to ambient light. So of course it's on 100% brightness, as it should be. So we'll go to multicolor. Oh, the welcome. Oh, reserve fuel. Nope, I don't want to search for a gas station. Welcome and climate wasn't on, so the new owner will thank us for that. Brightness zones off, multicolor on. Let's see, we'll do red moon's pretty cool, kind of like red and blue. Although the red on the red leather doesn't look that good, so let's see what dawn blue looks like. Oh wow, that looks good. We'll do that. Let's see, let's just go to back to vehicle. So now, when you put the climate control down, it's either blue, and you put it up, it turns red. I don't know if you guys can see that. Blue, red. Same for the passenger side. Blue and red. Very cool. All right, so now we're going to hop out, give the key to Dan, and he's going to give us a cold start of this 800 horsepower GT63S monster. So ignition, and then turn that to race mode on the selector. Now, while you're going to hold the left paddle down, and ready. Sounds amazing. See how the startup was more aggressive?
Yeah.
Right now it's in race mode. Put all the ambient lighting on. All right, so now we're gonna take the Brabus GT63S out to get some gas real quick because it was very low. So we're gonna need to have it idling for most of the review. So right now we're gonna hop in with Dan. All right. You can see out here in the sun that amazing carbon fiber with the black and red pepper interior. And of course, all the OEM carbon matches the Brabus carbon on the exterior. Gonna go get some gas. All right, so right now we're just at the gas station, filling up the GT63S. Look at that amazing obsidian black sparkling in the sun. Lots of metallic flake, all kinds of red, blues, and greens. And you have the carbon fiber add-on chair for the vents. They're not real vents. One of my gripes about this car, but they look okay. Oh, just had a GTI come screeching to a halt there. You got the V8 bi-turbo 4MATIC Plus badges there. This has the exterior carbon package from Mercedes-AMG. So you have the mirror caps, side skirts down here, and these side flicks on the back bumper. It actually goes really well. You can see on the side it has the, they're staggered and they're different sizes. So they're 21-inch Brabus wheels in the front, 22s in the rear. Let's see what the rear tires are. They're Pirellis. They're 335 section, 22-inch wheels. So you have the large, they're not the carbon ceramics, but they are huge steel Brembo brakes, front and rear. It's actually signified by the yellow calipers. If they were carbon ceramics, you would actually see the kind of copper color there, and it would say AMG carbon ceramic. You have the Brabus logo there with the B. All right, so now we're gonna get it back to the shop, and I'm gonna show you guys more of that Brabus 800 package. All right, so right now we've got the Brabus 800 just behind the other Euro Motorsports building here. This is the race shop. As you can see here, the obsidian black in the sun just looks spectacular. You have all the metal flake. And actually, we're just gonna roll up the window real quick so we can save some of that air conditioning. One-touch power windows in all four corners. And of course, soft closed doors. But just walking around the car, you can see it has the amazing 21 and 22-inch Brabus forged wheels with the gloss black and the silver polished finish, with the plate platinum edition monoblock 21-inch forged, and this is the same thing on the other wheel except for 22. And what this car doesn't have, which I actually am okay with, is the large Brabus rear wing. I really do like the automatic spoiler that comes out, and right now this is in its highest position. There's 4 levels or 4 stages, so this is being the highest, the most downforce. And of course you have all the Brabus badging, lettering there, the Brabus B GT63S badging that comes on the car normally. And you have these kind of side flicks for the vents or the canards in the back. And you have the large carbon fiber rear diffuser splitter, this whole back thing here. And you have the Brabus exhaust tips, or quad exhaust tips. Car has a very nice idle to it. It's actually in comfort mode right now. Let's put it into race. So I put it into race mode. So the idle just went up a little bit. And the exhaust note got a little more aggressive. It's just an amazing car. And with the suspension in Sport Plus, the air suspension is really at its lowest setting right now. Of course, you could always do lowering links to really even it out, especially bring the back down. However, right now, as it's sitting, it looks really nice. Now we're gonna step inside. It's a very hot day out today. I'm gonna get some of that AC. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but this little plaque here, it says Brabus High Performance Automobiles is kind of a little stamp of approval they put on their cars. So right now we're going to close it up. So right now we're sitting inside the Brabus 800 AMG GT63S. And as you can see, the interior is full to the brim with red leather, Alcantara or Dynamica, and the black carbon fiber here. And first I want to point out this amazing AMG performance steering wheel. You have the Dynamica on the sides here, which feels great. And you have the carbon fiber trim up top with the leather racing line. That's a very nice touch. As well as the black carbon fiber on the bottom here, the flat bottom, the AMG logo with this cool kind of twin spoke tooth design. Of course, you have the normal touch pads here for the controlling of the screens here, and the right touchpad is to control things on the screen here, the center screen. Of course, you have all your adaptive cruise controls for your drive pilot, as well as all the other autonomous driving settings over here with a heads-up display and the suspension lifter for the air suspension. And one of my favorite things about the GT63S in particular are these little shortcut buttons. They're an option on the GT63, however, I believe they are standard on the 63S. You have these two buttons here that when the car is off, actually I'll just turn it off so I can show you guys. So when the car is off, just like the center stack here, these screens are off here with the buttons and all the controls for the volume and the driving modes. The little shortcut buttons are also blank, they're just screens. However, when you turn the car on, and actually I don't know if you can see the engine start stop button is pulsing or breathing. So press that, car starts up. And you have these shortcut buttons here. So this one I'll go to first. It's really just a mode selector. So right now the car is in comfort. If you turn it counterclockwise, it goes into individual. And then again for slippery or snow or being in South Florida, definitely wet mode. It shouldn't be a snowflake, it should be a thunderstorm or a raindrop. But if you turn it clockwise, you go back into comfort, sport, sport plus, and you can hear the exhaust valves just opened up and the RPMs raised a little bit. And my personal favorite mode, race mode. And it actually changes up here, and as well as the big center screen here. So you got Sport Plus, you can see all the different things it changes. Sport, AMG Dynamics is basic here, and then Advanced, Pro, and then Pro again for race. And instead of open or closed, the exhaust either says powerful or balanced, which is a very cool touch. So that's pretty much it for the mode selector. However, the really cool part, and just a nice touch that Mercedes-AMG didn't have to do, but they're really at the cutting edge when it comes to technology and convenience features in cars. So you have this kind of dual button design here. However, the believe it or not, the screen itself is actually a button. So each half of the screen, even though it's one solid piece, each half is a button is on its own. So the setting, and I have it here, is for the wing. So if I hold it, you can see on the screen there, it is going down. It's in 4 stages. So now it's down and it's blue. And if I go to the mirror here, if you guys can see that. So if I press it once, the wing goes all the way up and it's 4th stage. And you have the exhaust valves closed or open here. So if you press it, it turns blue, the exhaust valves are closed. And it reflects that change here on the middle screen. So if I open it again, it says powerful. Of course, we're in Sport Plus mode. And but that is not it for the shortcut button. It actually, there's more to it. If you press the screen, you can cycle through the different shortcut options. So suspension, and you can change it here. Pretty cool. It's in Sport Plus suspension right now, which also lowers the air suspension to its stiffest setting. Also looks the best. Then you have your drive mode, manual, drive, automatic start stop is off. And the wing again, and then this side you have your exhaust, drive modes again, auto start stop. So you can really have any combination, and you can't have like the wing twice. So since I have the wing up and down selected here, this side will know to exclude that option. So let's see if we go, so we'll turn that off, we'll go back to exhaust. Now the wing up and down will be available here. So it's very configurable, you can really personalize it to your tastes. And the same goes for the center screen here, the gauge cluster. What I've very kindly done for the new owner is, at least what I think that he would like, is the big center screen here in the Super Sport mode. I'll show you guys what it looked like before. So we have the home button here on the steering wheel. We'll go home. Using the touch pads, go to the right to, let's see, designs. And it was on Sport earlier, which looks like this, which I'm not really a fan of. Then you have Classic, which is kind of basic in my opinion. It also changes over here on the center screen. So Sport, kind of changes here. Then Super Sport makes it look a little more aggressive. And if you go back here, back to AMG, you have your boost settings and everything there. It's really on both sides, so if you don't want to have the same thing on both sides, because that's kind of strange, you can use the touchpad here to scroll to the left, and you have control over this side. So we have the settings, dynamic, Sport Plus suspension, and if we scroll to the other side, you can have just AMG, tire pressure, fuel, the navigation. It goes up, you can have the date. We'll leave it on the G meter, which is pretty cool. And I already showed you guys in the showroom all the ambient lighting and how the climate controls, the vents change colors when you put the temperature up or down. It corresponds to that. So you can really see the black red pepper leather interior popping out here in the sun. It looks amazing, especially with these AMG performance seats. And you guys may have noticed that this vehicle is equipped with the Burmester high-end 3D sound system, which is a $6,400 option. And probably the only downside to it is that it replaces the sunglasses holder. So if you like to keep sunglasses in your car, there are other places to keep them. But the only downside, like I said, is you lose the door. Instead, you get a big center channel here. You get a big door speaker there, a center channel. This vehicle actually has the front base feature that was introduced on the 2014 S-Class, where basically the whole dashboard is a hollowed out kind of like sub-enclosure or ported sub-enclosure. Of course, you have the speakers here right on the headliner, which is all dynamic Alcantara. More speakers in the rear doors down there. And of course, around the back there. It's a great sound system. It's a little bit more rewarding in the S-Class because it's just a bigger car and you have more room for more speakers, but it is still very much worth it in this car. Let's see, continuing around, of course, you have the interior and the exterior carbon fiber package. Put the window down. You guys can see that. Actually, I don't believe this car has double pane windows. Let's see. Oh, so they're just pretty thick single pane windows. The S-Class has double pane, but then again, that also saves weight. This already is a pretty heavy car. I believe it's around 4,400 to 4,500 pounds. It does have the same 4MATIC Plus that it was in the GT63 that I reviewed. So it has the torque vectoring. It can send any amount of power and torque to any wheel depending on situation or what the car requires. There really isn't a fixed torque split. The car is rear-wheel drive biased. However, it'll send as much as 90% of the torque to the front wheels if it needs it. And also the all-wheel drive is variable. So just like the E63S, you can completely make the car rear-wheel drive, so you can do burnouts and donuts and what have you. However, this car being an 800 horsepower monster that it is, I really prefer leaving the all-wheel drive on and just letting it do its thing. And the rear-wheel drive mode, aka drift mode, is really only meant for racetracks and for showing off on a closed course. I really wouldn't use it on the street. This is a big and heavy car, but if you do have it in rear-wheel drive mode, and being that this has 800 horsepower, the back end can get away from you. And it does have rear-wheel steering. It won't really be able to save you every time, especially if you turn off all the nannies. And the rear-wheel drive mode or drift mode does turn off traction control, stability control. So you're kind of left to your own devices there. However, when it's in all-wheel drive mode, it's a perfectly controllable and docile car when you want it to be. But anything more than sport mode, and it's a complete animal. At the same time, it's loaded with all the latest technology and creature comforts. You have heated and cooled seats. This doesn't have the comfort seats, so they're not massaged, and it doesn't have the active bolstering here. However, you do have the energizing comfort that was in the GT63 that I reviewed. So if we go to vehicle, energizing comfort, you have your different modes here, so refresh, which puts the AC on, changes the music. Actually, if we turn up the music, Vitality, changes the music to put the seat coolers on. And thankfully it put on some royalty-free music, so we're not going to get this video copyrighted. Now let's try, oh, here's the training thing. If you guys watched my S63 review, you saw the training. You have the muscle stimulation, muscle relaxation. So let's do that real quick.
Welcome to 10 minutes of muscle relaxation. Borrowed from Jacobson's Progressive Muscle Relaxation, a short tensioning of a muscle group is followed by a deeper relaxation of these muscles. Please pay attention to the traffic. Interrupt the exercise as soon as the traffic situation requires. Carrying out the training exercises lies within your responsibility. Sit up straight somewhat. Your chest gets a bit wider at the front. In preparation, move your shoulder blades gently back and downward.
So you guys get the point. You really don't need a personal trainer when you have this $200,000+, 800 horsepower family sedan. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, so continuing around the interior of the GT63S. As you can see, actually we'll go back into the vehicle menu here. I'm not really going to go through the infotainment like I did in the GT63. However, you do have things like of course, the energizing comfort, vitalization programs, seat controls. Being that these aren't the comfort seats, you don't have as much adjustability. However, you can do the side bolsters. I'm getting squeezed to death right now. Definitely going to open those back up. Lateral support cushion. So you can open those up, you can squeeze them. It's a very strange feeling. If we go back, you have Dynamic Select, one of my favorite screens. So you have engine data, which shows the current water temp, oil temp, pound-feet of torque, as well as the horsepower. You can hear the blow-off valves in the front as well as that Brabus exhaust. Sounds amazing. And if we go back, you have vehicle data. So that shows gas pedal and your brake. So right now the brake is 25%. That's full braking, and then you have the gas there. And right now we're in race mode, so the suspension is lowered 1 inch. And if I was to put it into comfort, let's see, once it goes into comfort, just loading. So now the vehicle's rising. It's very slow. The air suspension kind of does a teeter-totter effect, but we're gonna put it back into race mode. Definitely does this car the most justice. And we're gonna go back, because probably the coolest screen in the whole car, as far as the data goes, the vehicle data, is dynamic data. So it shows the car as it's on a road. And actually in race mode, it shows like it's on a racetrack. You have your boost gauge, pound-feet of torque, horsepower, G meter. And when you're driving, it actually shows the steering angle as well as the load that's on the suspension. Right now, we're not driving, the car's in park. But if we put it into drive, so it shows the braking, shows the steering wheel moving, and shows that we're in all-wheel drive. So if we were to put it into drift mode, you would show that the front differential is disconnected, the input shaft, so the car becomes rear-wheel drive. So we're going to put it back into park. Just a little P button there. And it's funny, a lot of people complained about the AMG GTS and GTR. The shifter was back here. And being a little coupe or, two-seater car, you have the bulkhead back here and just the little hatch area for the storage compartment. So the armrest kind of ended here, but this being a full-size sedan, really had plenty of room, and they were able to move everything up. Have a much bigger dashboard. The seating position is more like a traditional sedan, similar to the S-Class, more upright position, not really low slung or kind of hunkered down below the dashboard. You have a very nice view over the hood. You have the twin power domes there around the hood. And we're gonna get a look at the exterior in a few seconds. We're gonna hop out. And that should really do it for the interior of the car. I mean, like I said, the only differences between this interior and the GT63 that I reviewed is really just steering wheel, the trim. The other car had the wooden trim, the open pore wood. This has the interior carbon package. Of course, you have the red stitching on the dashboard and the red pepper in the race seats. The other car had the comfort seats, which were massage and had the active bolstering. But they all have flat bottom steering wheels. This one just has a few more features like the shortcuts here. And actually, I forgot to mention that if you just press it, it goes to the car's individual mode. So it really hasn't been configured. You just have sport for the engine, drive for the automatic for the transmission, just the other settings like that. You can see it there on the screen. The AMG dynamics are advanced, and the exhaust valves are closed, traction control on, and sport suspension. So we're gonna put it back into race mode. But right now we're gonna turn the car off, give the car a rest. Also, so those extremely loud radiator fans turn off. Gonna hop out. See those soft closed doors again. All right, so right now we're coming around back of the Brabus 800 GT63S. As you can see, the car is quite wide. Like I said, it's a full-sized family sedan. It's really a hatchback. Of course, you have that extremely aggressive Brabus rear diffuser here. It's like triple layered. You have the carbon fiber layer here, the gloss black layer there, and then you have the Brabus exhaust tips. They actually say Brabus on the side there. You have the wraparound parking sensors for the Parktronic system. Of course, the Euro Motorsports license plate there. And once again, thank you to them for allowing me to review this beast. And of course, you have the Mercedes three-pointed star that's been replaced by the Brabus logo. And the AMG logo has been replaced by the Brabus lettering there. GT63S. And like I was saying earlier, the wing comes up in 4 stages. So you have the first stage, which is kind of like that, and then kind of continues from there. This is the 4th and the highest stage with the most downforce. And frankly, it looks the best. All right, so right now, we're gonna open up the rear hatch here. We've got the key fob here. Hold it like that. Pops open. As you can see, it is a very large opening. You have the Brabus floor mat here. And part of the Burmester high-end 3D system, you have this large subwoofer in here, similar to the S63 or any other vehicle that has it. And usually you'd be able to actually swipe your foot here to close it. However, due to the large aftermarket, the Brabus diffuser, I think that may have disabled the sensor, but honestly, it's no big deal. You can just hold the key and closes like so. And since I already had the car locked, it just locked once I closed the hatch. And coming around the side here, once again, you have those huge 22-inch rear and 21-inch front Brabus forged wheels. They're numbered. They're like the Platinum Edition wheels. And of course, you have the obsidian black going against the carbon fiber here. On the side skirts, the mirrors, you can actually see down there, the carbon fiber looks amazing in the sun. All the black leather, the black full Napa leather with the red stitching on the dashboard. Coming around to the front, you have the huge wraparound Brabus carbon fiber front splitter. And you have the air dams here. You have the surrounds for the air channels. And of course, the lovely Panamericana grille, which was introduced in 2018 on the AMG GTR. And this being a flagship AMG vehicle, it doesn't have a non-AMG variant. It's not based on a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. It is actually a purebred through and through AMG vehicle. You have all the carbon fiber surrounds here. It's basically carbon fiber on carbon fiber. And those are the channels to cool down the brakes. Once again, you have the parking sensors for the Parktronic system. And you actually have the multi-beam headlights here. So multi-beam LED. There is 64 LEDs in each projector here. So they kind of turn on and they swivel around. And depending on if it's a North American vehicle or a European vehicle, the high beams or auto high beams at night will shade out any traffic in front of it or oncoming traffic and always keep the high beams on. And like I was showing you guys earlier in the showroom, you have the three-pointed star that was replaced by the Brabus B. You have the front camera here, that's part of the surround view system. Brabus B up here. And this Brabus logo here that replaces the AMG logo actually lights up. Coming around the side, see more of those amazing wheels. Of course, the V8 Biturbo 4MATIC Plus badging. More of the carbon mirrors. We'll actually unlock it here. So you can see the cameras for the surround view. And just like in the GT63 review, you can see that large sloping roof. I really do love the hatchback body styling, especially with the large wing out here that comes up. It's really just an amazing car. I mean, what you're getting from Mercedes AMG is already astounding, and then Brabus comes in, puts their touches on it, whether it's on the performance level or the aesthetic level. In this case, having the 800 package, it has 800 horsepower thanks to their performance tuning with the ECU and the engine software. And actually, you can see all the extra bits they put on, so you have the Brabus logo everywhere. I would say there's probably a total of around 15 to 20 Brabus logos on this vehicle, on the inside and outside. They really did put their touch on it. It's subtle, but it does stand out. Actually, when we took this down the street earlier to get gas, We had it maybe not even a half mile from the shop, and within 15 minutes we already had about 5 people ask what it is, or they knew what it was and they were freaking out, just like I would if I happened to see this on the street. Thankfully, I'm able to be driving it, well, not driving, but riding in it today and reviewing it, and really just taking it in and appreciating it for what it is, as this one is actually going to be leaving soon. The new owner is flying into town, and that'll definitely be the last I see of this car, because it is not staying in Florida. But congrats to the new owner, and he's definitely got himself one hell of a car. Actually, real quick, I just want to show you guys under the hood of that 4-liter bi-turbo V8. The hood pulls way under there. So sometimes Brabus kind of dresses up the engine bay and puts their special engine cover on. However, it looks like this only received the regular treatment from AMG. So you have all the usual like hoses and plastic parts that are marked AMG. Of course, you have that huge engine cover, the AMG there, and being a hot V, the turbos are in the valley, keeping the turbos nice and hot and close to the exhaust manifold, pretty much eliminating turbo lag. And just like every AMG model, you have the plaque here. It says it was handcrafted by this individual as part of Mercedes AMG's one man, one engine policy. And is actually front mid-engine. You just have the engine sitting on the front axle. So the weight distribution is great in this car. The management of the front end is really easy. There's no understeer, but plenty of oversteer when you want it. But other than that, the car is very composed. And other than all the usual plastic covers here, there's really not much to see. It's really just a big V8, you know, well, nowadays a 4-liter V8 is pretty big. And this only being a 4-liter, you got the turbochargers there, so there's no need to have large displacement engines anymore. But that's really it for the engine, so let's close it up. Alright guys, well that should do it for this review of the Brabus 800 AMG GT63S. Once again, I just want to thank Dan from Euro Motorsports for allowing me to review this car before the new owner flies into town today to take delivery of it. And as always, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. See you next time, guys.